security. And let me close with words of thanks to many of the ambassadors from the 5 continents here, because they created a group here in the United Nations. And at the last meeting, we had 60 such delegations. And the spirit of that group is to defend this charter, peace and security and the principles of the United Nations Charter, but not to defend Venezuela. But in this case, to defend Venezuela. But if it's Nicaragua tomorrow, then defend Nicaragua. But if for whatever reason it's in Indonesia tomorrow, then protect Indonesia, but use and recover the principles of this charter. And in the non-aligned movement, we agree that there is a need to put a stop to this movement. In a meeting of the NAM, the ambassador of South Africa said that today it's Venezuela, but who will it be tomorrow? It can be any of us. So if we don't put a stop to this madness that is being generated by the United States today and its claims, and Mr. Representative of Germany, the Bundestag says, when asked about the recognition of the alleged government of Mr. Guaido, therefore there are important reasons to hold the view that the recognition of an interim president means interference in the domestic affairs of our states, and this is unlawful intervention, and this is inappropriate. Recognition should not be premature. It should not take place before a new government has been definitively inaugurated. It would be hasty, and it would be creating an illegitimate government, putting an illegitimate government in the place of a legitimate government. And we have to recognize that whoever does that is criminally responsible under international law, and this is counter to the maintenance of peace. And apparently the government of Germany does not care that its legal counsel issued this opinion. But ask the Bundestag today, because it turns out that Mr. Guaido interpreted Article 233 of this constitution, and apparently there was an absolute absence of Mr. Maduro. Apparently he had vanished. He doesn't exist. We don't have the 10 million Venezuelans who had voted. So the unconstitutional interpretation was such that he became president of the National Assembly, and during the time when elections would have had to be organized, and those 30 days were for that reason only. And beyond the 30 days, what do we have? We have a gentleman from the National Assembly who legally approved the statute for transition, and he said it could be renewed as many times as possible, as necessary during that time. When Commander Chavez died, elections were held in 35 days and not in 30 days, because the National Electoral Council had asked for 5 more days. They were given the permission to delay 5 more days. So this transition statute, which Mr. Guaido, who is the head of the National Assembly, apparently an absolute dictator, has been recognized by Europe and other countries. It's as if the government of it's the government of Narnia, and it doesn't exist. But this is all a pretext for an international intervention. It wouldn't so serious, it would be a joke, but it's now time for me to call on you to reflect on this. And I apologize for my tone, but this is a slight against my people. And there's so many statements that are groundless, and it's painful to listen to them. And we are seeing a call for an end to multilateralism. And I'm calling upon you on behalf of our president and my people to reflect.